Joining me now with more on the Afghan elections and the current security situation there is Rebecca Zimmerman. She's a fellow with the Truman National Security Project. I want to welcome you to the broadcast. They're going to be going to the polls just very soon. What are the aspirations of the voters, would you say? Can you kind of narrow it down for us? What are they looking for in a new government, do you suspect?
Well, I think this is really a historical moment for the Afghan people, and there's a lot of enthusiasm behind the elections. I think in particular right now, a lot of Afghans are looking for change from the status quo that some people feel has disenfranchised them, but at the same time, really an improvement in their security, their ability to sort of predict what their everyday lives are going to look like a year from now, 2 years from now.
You mentioned security. There's the BSA, as we know. Karzai's refused to go on board with that. A lot of the candidates say they will sign it. That's one issue that will the new president will have to deal with. A number of others, you know, the kind of sticky relationship with neighbors, including Pakistan, the Taliban, of course, the economy, the list goes on and on. So what are they facing, whoever the new leader may be?
Well, yeah, that's enough to be facing right there. That's quite a lot. It's really an intense balancing act that's going to begin with the choice of the cabinet and the extent to which this is a unity government where they're going to be inclusive of other partisan and ethnic viewpoints. And that's really going to, I think, dictate the overall tone as far as how they engage with Pakistan and Iran, how they engage with the United States, what they end up doing specifically with the bilateral security agreement. Again, all the front runners have said they're going to sign the BSA. Don't anticipate that to be a problem, but you know, the alacrity with which that's done, whether any of those provisions end up getting modified at all, those will all be really big decisions they'll be facing immediately.
But you mentioned to me before we went on the air here that this is sort of a cauldron. I mean, this could go in a lot of different directions. And I think, you know, most people in the West look at it as candidates, but there's much more at play here than that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Certainly it's a cauldron. There's a lot at stake in terms of the ethnic inclusiveness of the forthcoming administration. So, for example, if a candidate wins in the first round of the election and has a lot of sort of political debts to pay, as politicians do, to a lot of the members of their own party or their own factions, then they might end up, for example, creating a government that really leaves out a large percentage of the population. We know that some of the ethnic minorities in particular are on almost I don't want to call it a hair trigger, but they're really on the lookout for, are we going to be taken care of? Are our interests going to be preserved? Now, each of the candidates has a slate of 2 vice presidents, which allows for 3 different ethnic groups to be represented in one ticket. But not all candidates are equally strong spokesmen for their ethnic interests.
It'll be a fascinating thing to keep our eyes on. And Rebecca, thank you for your insights. Certainly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.